You're listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show with your hosts, the Fantasy Insider, Matt Brick, the Commish, Henry Brick, and the Doctor, Jeff Hathcock. Welcome in, everyone. You are listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I am Matt Brick, your host, and I'm here with Henry, the Commish Brick, and Jeff, the Doctor Hathcock. We just had week 8 of the... We're halfway through. It's kind of crazy to be here at this point, but we're halfway through the season, and unfortunately, the injuries keep piling up. But let's get straight to the news because there's not much that I saw, at least. Cam Scatterboo is out for the season after dislocating his ankle, so hope for a speedy recovery for him. He was balling out, and I hope the best for him. It's this nasty injury, and it's just you hate to see it. It's not great. I'm an Eagles fan. I hate seeing that.
And didn't you say Big Dom went and visited him?
Big Dom, the security
pizza and cheesesteaks, baby, makes everything feel better.
Pizza and cheesesteaks to Cam Scatterboo in the hospital because that's just the way it's done in Philly. Pretty cool to see that. So, yeah. Wish him the best of luck. He was playing at a level, and hopefully we see that again sometime soon. Saquon Barkley is not concerned about his groin injury. He got hurt towards the end of the game there, but doesn't seem to be much of a concern. Luther Burden had a concussion, so there's that to monitor. Quinshon Judkins had a shoulder injury. Spencer Rattler was benched for Tyler Shuck. Patrick Surtain, he hurt his shoulder and is expected to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Pacheco has an MCL sprain that's considered week to week. The Cardinals released Michael Carter, and then they just they signed him to the practice squad today. So there's that. Terry McLaurin, I guess, has a quad injury considered day to day, and the Patriots just made 2 trades. They traded away Kyle Duggar, their safety, to the Steelers, and they traded someone else. I'm not quite sure what his name was, but it's an interesting thing because they're 6-2, I believe. Oh, Keon White was the name, the defensive end they traded as well. So I don't know why they're. I guess they're just getting rid of guys they don't think they need. They traded White to the 49ers because the 49ers needed some pass rush help. So there's that. The bye weeks this week are the Browns, Jets, Eagles, and Bucks. So a lot better than last week's bye Mageddon. It was a tough week, honestly, for fantasy, in my opinion. If you had Tucker Kraft, you had a great week. If you had Dallas Goedert, congrats. But it was a big tight end week with National Tight Ends Day, which was expected. But yeah, it was a week that I think if you lost, then it's okay because there was just a lot going on that none of us really. There's not much you could have done because it was tough. It was a tough week.
Yeah, man. All these teams on a bye. Man, you had to dig deep on some. I had Juju Smith-Schuster in the lineup for God's sakes, which was like, I'm glad that's over.
I tell you what, though, if you happen to win this past week, you got to feel like you're on cloud 9. To get out of that, with Cam Scatterboo getting injured, there's so much going on. There's so many players still on IR, still not playing. Hopefully we get Bucky back. I know he's on bye this week, but I really want Bucky Irving to play. I hope he comes back. He's healthy. It's just, what a crazy week.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I fared pretty well in most leagues. But the one league I really wanted to win, I'm down 12 points going into last night. I have Debo. I'm like, okay. I'm against Brashard Smith, which, okay, 12 points. And
Yep.
he gets the ball in his face and intercepted. So that was my nut.
Yeah. I myself, I mean, Jeff's right. Like, if you did win, which I myself did win in several leagues, and now I'm getting guys like Jameer Gibbs back. So it's a huge week to win. But if you did lose, I don't think it's the end of the world, depending on what your record is. So you just got to keep. I mean, it's kind of wild. Like, we only have 6 weeks left. I mean, in some leagues,
Playoffs are right around the corners. Like,
Right, like,
it's
if
going to
you're
be here
week
before we
14
know it.
starting, like, or week 15, right? Yeah. Then you only have 6 more weeks to figure it out and try to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
we're really climbing the ladder, and we're not.
By the way, in the
down.
league we're all in together. I plan on winning out and squeaking in somehow. Just letting.
Listen,
I said it here
Henry,
first.
you've been on it. Listen, for those who don't know, in the league we're playing in, the auction league, Henry's had a little bit of bad luck here and there, but I mean, listen,
a lot of bad luck.
couple straight weeks, we've been putting up some major points. One of the top scorers, Matt. You too. You're looking good. I mean, I'm always looking good. I'm gonna take it this year, but it's definitely fun and competitive for sure. It's been an interesting season so far.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that league's been tough. I mean, I've been scoring a lot, but just not winning. I've been going up against the number one scorer every week, so
it's
just
tough.
not easy. All right, let's get right into our stardom situm segments. All started off. This week, I have Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, as a great start this week against the Steelers. They have allowed 170 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is 31st in the league. Not great. The Colts have been on fire, and I expect them to keep going against Pittsburgh. Next up, I have Kamani Vidal, who plays the Titans, which have allowed 186 points to the running back, which is 31st in the league. Vidal kind of just balled out on Thursday night against the Vikings there, so I think he can continue that next week, this week. So next and lastly, with the Jags coming off a bye, I think they're totally and ready to feed Brian Thomas Jr. the ball. They play the Raiders this week, who have allowed 157 fantasy points to the wide receiver, which is 28th in the league. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you what the Jags' record is right now. I'm sure it's okay, but I feel like they need to start feeding him the ball. And I will be talking about Brian Thomas Jr. a little bit later in the show. So, Kamish, what do you have for your starts of the week?
Well, I absolutely agree with you about Vidal. Tennessee ranks bottom 7th in rushing yards allowed. So I think that's a great start. I really like Drake May this week at home against Atlanta. They gave up 4 touchdowns to the Dolphins last week and are currently number 1 for passing yards allowed. And Drake is absolutely balling. So,
QB2 right now. QB2.
Yeah, man. He has to start. He's a beast. Zay Flowers, very interesting. He gets Lamar back, goes up against Miami. Dolphins are 30th in total yards allowed per game. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Zay Flowers later in the show, but he's a great start this week. And I had to throw in there Devonta Adams. Goes up against the Saints. They allow the 9th most passing yards per game. Adams will feast this week. So make sure you get him in your lineup. Doctor, what do you got, sir?
Yeah, listen, for me, Justin Herbert, he's playing lights out right now. The offense is cooking. We just talked about Kamani Vidal. He's looked good. But Justin Herbert right now, he leads the league in passing yards. He's got 2,140 and is tied for second in touchdown passes. At this point in his fantasy career, he's playing great. He's on pace to have, I believe it's 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, and run for 450 yards, which no one has done which is kind of crazy. So I love him this week. If you're playing DFS, I love him this week. I love the matchup. I think they're going to put up a lot of points on this Titans team. And like we were saying before, this is a Swiss cheese defense. They allow 27 points per game to the quarterback. So I just think it's a smash spot. And for this week, especially there's still guys that are hurt. There's still guys that are on bye. Tyrone Tracy. We're all sad about Cam Scatterbo. He especially for this Giants. I'm a Giants fan. And he was the heart and soul of this team. Like he got people fired up. The whole atmosphere of the team was changing with him and Dart, doing what they've done the past couple of weeks. But Tyrone Tracy, he looked good last year. I think he's a solid running back to start. And he's also I'm going to talk about him a little bit later in the show. But I love him. I love him in my fantasy lineup this week in DFS. I'm looking to play him. And then Jalen Waddle. Listen, I was wrong about Jalen Waddle last week. He was a strong sit for me, and he showed up. Two or through 4 touchdowns. Waddle had a great game last week, and I think it's going to continue. I don't think Tua is going to throw for another 4 touchdowns this Thursday night game, but I do think that with the defense they're facing this week, he's got a shot to have another big game to get into the end zone. And since Tyreek Hill's injury, in his 3 of his last 4 games, he's gone for 6 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown, 6 catches for 95 yards, and 5 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. Like, he's playing great ball, and it looks like Tua's finally starting to just get his guys the ball. They're not trying to be cheeky and spread it around or do all the stuff like they did last year with Jonnu Smith. It's Devon Achane, it's Jalen Waddle, and it's wheels up for this offense as long as they can keep Tua upright. That's what I like.
Yeah, Waddle before the season started, I was very high on him, and it seems like he's really starting to pay off finally, which is great.
Yeah, I was really high on him last year.
It's wild to see how he's been doing. So
he just needed to lose Tyreek.
Let's go. All right, let's go right into sit 'em. I'll say who to sit. Okay. I have Bo Nix on my list here. He has a tough matchup against the Houston defense. He is a sit for me. I think he can struggle in this one. Houston has a lot of 81 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is the best in the league. That's number 1. It is tough to bench Bo Nix, but that Houston defense is still pretty good. So check the waiver wire, see if there's any other better matchups out there. You just never know. Joe Flacco could probably be out there for you. So next up, this one I know it's a big name. I know it's tough to bench him, but I have Bijan Robinson. They play the Falcons, or no. Bijan Robinson plays for the Falcons. They play the Patriots this week, and the Patriots still haven't allowed a running back to rush over 50 yards this season. That's crazy. I think he can get involved in the passing game, obviously, but like we've said on the show before, the Falcons have been kind of hit or miss this season, and I can see this be a tough game for the offense, whether it be Michael Penix in their quarterback or Kirk Cousins. So I don't know. I think this could be another tough game for Bijan, and keep that in mind to all Bijan owners. Next, I have Khalil Shakir, who goes up against the Chiefs, who have allowed 118 fantasy points against the wide receivers, which is the 4th best in the league. I think Shakir could struggle in this game and get points this week. So keep those in mind when you're setting up your lineups. Jeff, who do you have?
Yeah, listen, Carson Wentz, he gave us so games. McCarthy, he looked good for 1 quarter, and there's been talk that this has been a phantom injury and he's just been benched so he can try to gain some more confidence. But this duo does not give me any confidence whatsoever. So Jordan Addison this week is a sit. Between McCarthy and Wentz, the best, if not the best, one of the best wide receivers in the league, Justin Jefferson, who's a wide receiver 1. He's the wide receiver 16 on the year. So I don't expect much, with Addison, who's the wide receiver 2 on this team, especially going up against a team that's allowed the 9th fewest points in the league right now. It's just it's not going to be a good look, I don't think, against this Lions team. It's a divisional game, so I'm trying to stay as far away from Jordan Addison as I can. And despite Kendra Miller being done for the year with the injury, Alvin Kamara is a sit for me. For those who don't know, the rookie Tyler Shuck, he's going to be put in a QB this Sunday. Listen, Rattler wasn't much better. They're probably even at best. But right now they rank 30 out of 32 in just offense. The offensive line is not good. The Kellen Moore, he's doing the best as what he can, but Kamara just I think Father Time has finally caught up with him. He's not getting the workload he used to do. He's not getting the workload in the passing game, especially. He's only averaging 3.2 targets per game this year. So unless Moore decides to drastically just change how this offense has been playing for the last 8 weeks, Kamara's just, he's a sit for me. If you have anyone in your league who's willing to take Alvin Kamara, and I know, there's still a chance for this, that, he can still have these big games. It's a bad team. There's already trade talks. There was trade talks about getting rid of him before. Obviously, they're not going to do that now because they lost Kendrick Miller for the year. But I just think Kamara's on his last legs, and I'm not looking to play him at all. And then C.J. Stroud. Listen, for the first time in what feels like forever, Stroud has actually looked like Stroud of old from that rookie season. But I don't think he's going to give us that repeat performance of throwing for over 300 yards with that 2-touchdown performance against San Fran. The Broncos, I know they lost Surtain, but it's still a very good defense. They're well coached. Dak Prescott, they weren't able to do much. Dak only threw for 188 passing yards, and that Cowboys offense has been absolutely killer this year with the run game and the pass game. There's been so many struggles with this Texans offense, the offensive line. Maybe he gets Nico back from the concussion. That'd be a plus. But right now, if you got Stroud, I'd be looking to try to stream someone else. I just don't think he's going to have that great of a week this week.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, season-ending shoulder surgery, I believe, too. So he's absolutely out, and we really could see if this McCarthy is anything, So I'm actually looking forward to that because I was very high on him, as you both know, in the offseason.
You both said top 12.
Listen, that's definitely not happening after having missed all these games. But hopefully,
if he did miss the games,
even if he played,
if he did miss the games,
no, even if he played, nowhere near.
All right. All right, my sits of the week. I'm going. I actually agree with you, Matt. Bo Nix. That's Houston's defense, running the 4th fewest passing yards in the NFL. He's definitely a sit for me. Jamison Williams. Very frustrating player, right? He's given us 18 fantasy points twice. And then he's failed to hit 7 every other week. So, he's just a frustrating guy. The Vikings allow the 7th fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Hopefully you have a better option there at wide receiver. But I get it if you have to start him. But he's very, very bust more than the boom, right? Stephon Diggs goes up against the Browns, man. They're very tough against the pass. And, gosh,
they play the Falcons.
DraftKings. What's that?
They play the Falcons.
I'm sorry, the Falcons. My bad. The DraftKings has Diggs at 40.5 yards this week. So lower expectations on Diggs, right? Rico Dowdle, listen, without Bryce Young, and we don't know if Bryce Young's back or not. If he's not back, they're just Green Bay's going to load up the box on him, and I think keep Dowdle at bay. So I think you got to watch the injury report on that one. But they allow the third fewest fantasy points to the running back. So that's a tough start for me. Hopefully, you have a better option there. So, look, I have a few guys here that, I get we have 4 teams on a bye this week. You may have to start these guys, just got to temper expectations. Maybe you want to take a shot at a guy with a really high ceiling rather than start a guy that these guys, if you have to start them, are going to have very low ceilings, right? Or very low, very low ceilings and very low floors this week. So maybe you want to go with a guy that could possibly, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show, a guy that could maybe give you a big shot this week when you need it the most.
All right. Now it's time for our best segment. Dude, I'm sorry. Before that, you are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you're also listening to us live here on YouTube. All right, I'll start it off because I feel like I even said it last week that I'd eat my words. Last week, I wasn't in love with Drake May's matchup and was one of my sets. He proved me wrong. For that, dude, I'm sorry. But I did tell you to start Bo Nix, who did go off on Dallas this past week. So for that, you are welcome. Kamish, what do you have that you're sorry for?
Well, listen, last week I was very high on DeAndre Swift. He only puts up 45 yards rushing on the ground, 26 yards, receiving. He did manage to score, but not the fantasy total, I was looking for, and I'm sure you guys are looking for. So for that, dude, I am sorry. However, I was very, very high, so high on this particular player that one doctor, Mr. Jeff Hathcock, outbid me. Outbid me. By the way, you outbid me by $1 for Mr. Tight end Oronde Gadsden, who ends up with the second most catches on the team, 5 for 77 and a touchdown, just to kind of kick off the tight end big weekend. So for that, Jeff, you're welcome.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Gadsden looks incredible. But yeah, I kind of touched on this before. I told everyone to kind of temper expectations on Jalen Waddle, and he made me eat my words. He turned it 5 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. Had a great week. I guess against a tough defense that plays really well at home. Did not expect it. But on the flip side, I've been pounding the table. Hopefully you didn't have to start Tony Pollard. Because right now with Tyjae Spears back in this lineup, he is losing the backfield. Tyjae Spears, since he's been back, he's I believe it was 53%, 49%, and now 57% of the snaps. So he's out touching Pollard. He's looking better with the ball in his hands. So hopefully, I know Mageddon was it affected a lot of teams last week, but hopefully you didn't have to start Tony Pollard because doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
All right, let's get into our DFS lineup of the week. Commissioner, why don't you go first?
All right, boys. I have the winning lineup this week. I'm just letting you know right now. I had it week 1, and I let everybody take a chance. This week, though, I got it. All right. Now, I do have a little question at the quarterback position, depending on the injury report. But if it's all clear, you got to go Kyler Murray against Dallas. Only 5,700, and he plays on Monday Night Football, which is, I think, always a big bonus for fantasy. These guys always put their best game out there. Dallas absolutely can be had in the air, and Murray's going to put it there. Chase Brown goes up against Chicago. He's getting it done. He has a very great schedule the next, I don't know, like 4 or 5 weeks running the ball, man. I think Chase Brown at 5,900 is an absolute bargain. Jeff, you spoke about it a little bit earlier in the show. Tyrone Tracy now gets the nod at home against San Francisco. He's going to try to do his best to make a Scatterbill impression, but at 5,100, how can you not start him, right? It just when you get these guys that have huge upside, they're playing at home. It allows you to only pay 5,100. It allows you to spend a little high on some other players. I talked about it earlier. Devonta Adams, right? He's at home. He's against the Saints. 7,500, I think, is a absolute easy peasy big number right there. Zay Flowers, he gets like I said, Lamar back. Goes up against Miami Thursday night. Thursday night football has been absolutely great this year for fantasy. So I think that continues again this Thursday. Listen, Kyler Murray has to throw the ball to somebody. It's Maserati Marv. Okay, Marvin Harrison, 5,500. I think again Monday Night Football. This is a great combination for DFS. At tight end, I'm going to go Kittle. You guys told me Purcell doesn't look like he's going to be back this week. Kittle is going to be a strong part of this offense against the Giants. Eagles, Goddard just scored 2 touchdowns against them at the tight end position. Kittle should have very similar success. We talked about it already. Vidal up against Tennessee, a very, very weak against the run. 6,300. I have him in my flex. And he's going to put up some big points. I'll tell you what, I watch him. He looked very, very impressive. You know, filling in for Hampton, man, he looks like he's the guy for sure. He's definitely taking control. Yeah.
Having Joe Alt back is muy bueno.
Huge.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely. And they kept pointing that out, too, on TV. And finally, defense, the New England Patriots at home against Atlanta. Atlanta is horrible. Now, I don't even care if Penix is back this week, which he hopefully is. But Patriots D gets it done for the next few weeks too. By the way, in daily play as well. So there's the lineup, boys. You're welcome. Use it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go next. Listen. I know he's nursing the shoulder injury, but I got Joe Flacco 5,600. This is going to be a barn burner. If Flacco plays, if they're healthy. I definitely expect Flacco to just do whatever he wants against this Bears team. I think he's right now he's a top 6 quarterback these last 2 weeks. And he's throwing the absolute crap out of the ball. He's targeting Jamar Chase. I heard on a different show today. Jamar Chase after these last 2 games is on pace for like over 300 targets on the season, which. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's insane. But Flacco just keeps targeting him. So I'm going with Flacco at QB. I got Jahmyr Gibbs 8,000. I think he's just going to have an incredible game. We know this team likes to get run on. Who knows what's going to happen with McCarthy under center for the Vikings? But if Jahmyr Gibbs keeps playing the way he's playing, he's just going to have a smash start. I love it. I too am going with Tyrone Tracy, 5,100. I think it's a great value, like Henry talked about before. I think he's gonna have a good game. Singletary, I really am not concerned with him. And the Giants don't have much else, so I think this guy had a great season last year, and I think he's going to pick up right where he left off. At wide receiver, I'm going with that stack with Joe Flacco. I'm going with Jamar Chase at 8,400. I know it's chalky, but I just think Jamar Chase. He goes up against these defenses that are just not good, and he literally has his way with them. He does it against the Ravens all the time. He's always had these smash games. I think he's going to have one of those crazy games again this week. I also got Ladd McConkey for 6,000. I know this could be a point where it's like that they get such a big lead against the Titans that the Chargers don't have to do much, don't have to throw the ball. But Ladd McConkey, over these past 3 weeks, he's solidified himself. He is the wide receiver 1 on this team. Arondé Gadsden looks good, but they were talking before that defenses are starting to double team Arondé Gadsden because he's gashing them on all these massive plays. And who does that help? That helps Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver 1 on this team. I think he's a smash start. I do like Juwan Jennings, 4,300. I don't think Pearsall's coming back. my Giants are banged up. We're just losing players left and right. So I think Juwan Jennings, especially if Brock Purdy's coming back, has a great shot at surprising a lot of people and scoring some points. Um, Same thing in that Bears Bengals game. I got Colson Loveland. If Cole Kmet does not play this weekend, Colson Loveland, there's no other team besides the Bengals that gives up the most points to the tight end. This guy's a first round pick, a top 10 first round pick this past year. Hopefully he shows up and shows out. In the flex, I'm going with Ramondre, 5,400. To me, it's going to be tough, but I just love the volume he's getting. I think he's going to just continue to eat, and I think he finds the end zone. And then I'm going with the Rams, 3,900. They're hosting the Saints. They're hosting a rookie QB. This has all the writing on the wall for the Rams to get multiple sacks, probably score a touchdown on defense. It's just a great pick. I know it's chalky. It's one of the most expensive picks for defense this week, but I think it's going to pay off. How are we looking, Matt?
All right, here we go. I currently have Brock Purdy as my quarterback at 5,500, which I think is an absolute steal if he plays. It looks like the Giants' games have been shootouts so far. So I think if he does play, I think it's an incredible price for Purdy, and I think he can score a lot of points for you. So I have Purdy as of right now. My running backs, I have DeAndre Swift at 6,100 against the poor rushing defense of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I like Swift's matchup there. So locking that in. And then I have Kamani Vidal, who I had to start this week on my start list at 6,300 against the Titans. Titans are also just not too great on the rushing defense there. So I love Vidal's matchup. I have Jordan Addison at 5,800 against the Lions. I know the Lions are coming off the bye. I'm not too, confident in J.J. McCarthy, but I'm still excited to see if he can do anything still. So I have Addison there. I think it's a decent matchup for Addison. We'll see. It could be this. This is a, low risk, high reward, I think, at 5,800 for Addison. Lad McConkey at 6,000 against the Titans. I think that's a great matchup there for Lad. I hope it's more of a Lad game than, maybe more of an Oronde Gadsden or Quinn Johnson or Keenan Allen. So I have Lad McConkey there. Next, I have Xavier Worthy at 5,600 against the Bills. I feel like if anything, Rice has been getting the ball a lot more. So I'm hoping that maybe this is more of a Worthy game. I guess we'll have to see. Next, I have Tyler Warren at 5,500 against the Steelers. They've allowed the second most points to the tight end other than the Bengals, like Jeff was saying. So I like Tyler Warren there. And then at flex, I have Brian Thomas Jr. I didn't write how much money he is. That's awkward. I want to say he was like 6,200 on DraftKings, around there. They play the Raiders. And, like I said earlier, I just think that if you're looking at the bye week, they were on their bye last week, the Jags, and I think that, they have to be looking at the tape and they have to be smarter offensively. Trevor has to be better, obviously, but I think one of their game plans has to be trying to get this guy the ball. I mean, he's their best wide receiver, and I think he has a good game against the Raiders. And then I have the Texans defense against the Broncos there. So that's my lineup for this week, and hopefully it helps people out. Yeah. All right. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. We got sleepers and long shots. Kamish, who do you have for your sleeper or long shot?
All right, this is for my friend the doctor, right? Because he got the Oronde Gadsden last week. This week, you ready for this? Shamir Dyke, wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Calvin Ridley, boys, has a hamstring situation going on. This kid has very big play potential. Last week, okay, 8 targets, 7 catches for 93 yards. The last 2 weeks, he's over 16 fantasy points. So guess what? A guy you never even thought about. You saw the name, you're like, oh, that's some sort of situate. No, Shamir Dyke, that's the guy. Long shot, book it. You're welcome. Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Sam Darnold this week. He's got a juicy matchup against this Commanders defense. This Commanders defense is old. It is slow. It is no good. He's averaging just under 19 fantasy points per game in his last 3 contests. And Washington, they enter Week 9 allowing the 5th most fantasy points per game to QBs this season. He's playing closer to his floor right now, Darnold, his last time out. But I especially with just the way this offense is humming right now, with Darnold and JSN's connection, I think he has a chance to be a top 5 quarterback this week. I love the play, especially if you're looking to stream quarterbacks. But this connection is just awesome. I'm really excited to see Darnold. Just to continue to show everyone that, like, listen, last year wasn't a fluke. And I'm just really excited for the guy. How you feeling, Matt?
This week I have Michael Wilson, the wide receiver for the Cardinals. The Cardinals play Dallas on Monday Night Football, and that means the Cardinals wide receivers should do well against the Dallas defense, who've allowed 218 fantasy points against wide receivers. That's the worst in the league. Still, it's been the worst in the league all year. So I think Michael Wilson can get more targets this week, and I won't be surprised if he's a long shot this week. So there you go.
I just have one question, real quick.
What's that?
How do we feel if the Cardinals offense just like is a complete dud on Monday night? Is it total panic for the rest of the year?
I won't be surprised at all, honestly. I don't like Jonathan Gannon. I think he's not good. I don't think he's a good head coach.
I agree.
I mean, he was our defensive coordinator for when we went to the first Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
Here's the thing. Gannon knows Dallas, and he's always had success against them. I think defensively they're going to be okay. I think offensively, if Kyler Murray's back, then I think we're going to see some fireworks. So, but if you're right, if it's I
won't be surprised.
Abandoned ship, but I feel like they're going to be okay.
I don't know, man. I'm as of right now, I think Dallas wins this game. That's what I think.
Wow.
I think so too. I definitely think this is like, if it's going to be a game, I definitely think Dallas has the offense to just keep pouring it on. And if Kyler has,
is it home or away? I don't know. Do we know?
Here, I'll check. I'll check real quick.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because I don't know. I want to say it's in Dallas, but I could be wrong.
It is Week 9.
Whoa.
It's at Dallas. It doesn't matter. Did we lose the doctor?
We lost the doctor. It's okay. I'll see if I can see if he'll come back in.
I'm ready to frosty beverage bet both of you. I'll take the Cardinals. You guys can have the Cowboys.
You said it was in Dallas?
In Dallas, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think Dallas wins. Yeah, I still think Dallas wins if it's in Dallas for sure. All right. Well, we'll try to get Jeff back in here. I might have to invite him again into the studio. I don't know.
It's all good.
But as we do that, we all did our long shots. So
yes.
All right. We'll move on. Oh, there he is. All right, hold on. Let me
get so excited.
There's the doctor.
There he goes.
Doctor, I just said to Matt,
I don't even know what happened.
I'll frosty beverage bet both of you. I'll take the Cardinals. You both can have the Cowboys.
I'll
How's
take
that?
that.
All right,
It's
let's
in
go.
Dallas, Jeff. I think I don't know. I think. Are you ready for this? How about this? I bet you this. I bet you this game is determined by a field goal. How about that? I bet you Brandon Aubrey. I bet you Brandon Aubrey wins this game. That's what I
take the
think.
points.
It'll be
whatever the
long
spread
too.
is.
It'll be like really long.
I'll take whatever the spread is, and
Sounds like
you
the
guys can
frosted
have the
beverages are
Cowboys.
coming.
All right, let's go.
What
Let's
is
go.
the spread of this game?
I got to look it up now.
Oh, man.
I
It
got to
can't be
look
that
it
much.
up.
I can't imagine it being that much. But all right, we got waiver wire pickups. We are. I mean, we're halfway through the year. This is the time, right?
Yes.
I'll speak first. Why not? What do we got here? Oh, okay. So I have Bam Knight. I talked about Bam Knight week 7 in my notes here, but here we are again. Bam Knight. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about him, and now Michael Carter is on the practice squad. So it looks like Knight will be the guy there. So there's a guy to you can pick up, and Drake May's guy seems to completely be Keyshawn Booty. So you're gonna want to roster him in your league. So
Spread's 2.5, by the way.
a field goal. That's it.
Field goal.
Uh-huh. Brandon Aubrey, all reliable. That's the bet. I'm going to look at the kicking bets, the props. That's what I'll be looking at. Brandon Aubrey to hit 3. There you go. All right, Coach, who do you have to pick up this week?
Well, the obvious choice is obviously Tyrone Tracy. Scatterbo out for the year. He is the man. He did get over 1,000 yards rushing last year. San Fran allows the 9th most fantasy points to the running back. So Tyrone Tracy, absolute must pick up. Put a bunch of your fab money on him. Especially, I say that because at least I have found in all the leagues I'm in, running backs are at a premium. There's just none. So when you see one come available, man, you got to jump on it. And I got another running back for you. I mentioned him, I know, earlier in the year, Isaiah Davis. Brees Hall does look like he is going to be traded. Davis is averaging 9.3 yards a carry. He was 6 carries for 65 yards, caught 5 for 44 this past week, and he was a big part of that reason why the Jets pulled out a big victory. So if you need a running back help, man, these are two guys I would strongly suggest you go after. Talking about the Colts, Josh Downs. He's gone up against Pittsburgh. Let me say, last 3 games, he's had 5 red zone targets, and he's been averaging about 13.5 points, fantasy points a game. So Josh Downs, if he is available, he's a great pickup and plug and play to win the game. We talked earlier in the program about the big injury to Judkins, right? Dylan Sampson, he's the guy you want to pick up, especially if you have Judkins. He only averaged about 10 fantasy points in the 2 starts he had without Judkins, but I think the offense has evolved a little. He's obviously a little bit more knowledgeable about what he has to do in his role. I think he can play a little bit bigger of a part and get a little bit more than that average of 10 fantasy points a game, especially if you need a running back with the injury. And Jalen Noel, 5 for 63 this past week. He is getting it done in the slot, though. I mean, Higgins and Hutch did get the TDs. He didn't. But I believe Noel will be targeted very heavily in this offense moving forward. So a lot of good pickups for everyone this week. What you got there, Matt?
I already went. I talked about Bam Knight, and of course,
Oh, sorry, Doctor.
Yes.
Keyshawn Booty, also an excellent pickup.
For those who aren't aware, Pacheco's day to day. He's got this this MCL issue. So listen, it could be Brashard Smith. Maybe the rookie's got a breakout. But I mean, right now, the guy who's getting all the touches that really matter, which is the goal line touches, is Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt got into the end zone twice. Just this past Monday night, and he's going up against the Bills team that loves to get run on. So for me, especially the Bills, that they just lost a key piece of their defense and Ed Oliver. I think, if Pacheco's sidelined or they limit his snaps, I think Kareem Hunt's going to be the benefactor. So if he is on your waiver wire, I would definitely scoop him up. And I touched on this briefly, the DFS. If Cole Kmet's going to, not return from his injury this week, I think Colston Loveland is a great option. If Kmet does return, obviously much less attractive. But for me, the Bears they're trying to get him involved. Obviously, against the Ravens this past week, it didn't pan out for this entire Bears team on offense. But with the visit again in Week 9 for the Bengals, no other team gives more points to the tight end than the Bengals currently. And then again, this guy still isn't rostered in every league. I don't know what's going on. Joe Flacco, he's been a top 6 fantasy QB in each of the last 2 weeks, posting 24-plus fantasy points in both games, and he draws a banged-up Bears secondary in Week 9. I mean, what could you want more? It's not like they're going to just try to run the ball. It's the secondary of the Bears that you really want to attack, and I think they're going to. So I think Flacco's another smash start. He just, he did pick up that late injury against the Jets on this past Sunday, but I think they're gonna, just gonna make him day to day. They're not gonna make the old man, get out there and practice with everyone else. Zach Taylor, hopefully, is gonna keep it all conservative, and I think Flacco's just gonna have himself another incredible week this week against a defense that can definitely be exploited.
All right. Before we go into the buy low, sell high segment, you are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you are also listening to us live here on YouTube. Okay, this is the buy low, sell high segment. I'll start it off real quick. This week, my buy low is Brian Thomas Jr. I've been saying it all show. I think the game plan has to be to feed him the ball. I think right now you can get him for a low price, and it could be a high reward. So I think the buy low is Brian Thomas Jr. My sell high is R.J. Harvey. He just balled out. Now it's time to go and sell him because someone will want him in your league, and you can probably get a good deal for him there. So that is my buy low, sell high. Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah, for me, listen, T. Higgins, he's a buy low. He didn't have that great of a week 8, especially against a team with the Jets that I think he should have scored a lot more. But he's a buy low target for me. The window's going to close fast though. There's going to be a time where he's not going to just lose all these targets to Jamar Chase. There's going to be defenses that are going to try to bracket, do what they can to stop Jamar, and T. Higgins is going to be the benefactor. He was great down the stretch last year when Joe Burrow was healthy. I think they still have the best matchups for wide receivers the rest of the way. So as long as they're healthy and they're kicking, I think T. Higgins is just a must-have. He's an elite talent that's being valued right now like a bench warmer due to just the early season lows that are just not a thing. And I know we were talking about him. We're playing in DFS, but for me, sell high. The way I look at it right now, if Tyrone Tracy is on waivers, you're going to try to pick him up, and you're going to go right to the guy who had Scatterbo and be like, "Listen, man, let's do something. Let's try to get a deal done. Maybe if you're if you're fortunate enough to have a deep running back room for your team, you pick up Tyrone Tracy as insurance. But if you want to try to trade him to the guy who lost Scatterbo, or just another team who's maybe Bucky Irving, that's still a thing. Definitely take Tyrone Tracy and try to get as much as you can for him, and just go off the fact that, listen, there's no one else in this backfield. Singletary's not going to do anything. There's no one to throw the ball to. This guy's a wide receiver. He played wide receiver in college and then converted. I think it's a great opportunity to pick him up off waivers, or if you got him sitting on your bench, now you have an asset to go get something if you really need it. Maybe you need a tight end, maybe you need a wide receiver. Go get your guys.
All right. Great stuff as always, Doctor. My big buy low candidate, I mentioned it earlier in the show, is going to be Zay Flowers. Last 5 weeks, he's averaged about 10 fantasy points. This is the last week of the bargain basement time to get him, okay, because Lamar is back. Now, the guy that has him might be frustrated because of the low scoring. He might be frustrated because, hey, I think what Ravens have, 1 win, 2 wins, whatever it is, that they may be going to tank the season. I've heard commentary that they're probably going to win out the rest of the way, as long as Lamar is obviously playing. So if Lamar is back and they're going to ball out like we all think they will, especially with a great schedule, Flowers is a guy you definitely want on your team. I definitely go after him as a great buy low candidate this week. My sell high, sadly, has got to be Jackson Dart. They lost Scadaboo, man. Listen, I am not a Giants fan, but I am a big Scadaboo fan, man. Guy is just a baller, and it's terrible what happened to him. The fact is the team is just not going to be the same without him in there. The emphasis on stopping the run will not be as great, which where I think Tyron Tracy will will find success. But I think that's going to put a lot more, pressure on those receivers, so not giving anywhere for Dart to go, right? So that's going to be my sell high candidate because guess what? The guy's been putting up some great numbers, and maybe you could capitalize and get someone to help propel you to a championship.
All right. To close out the show, I have some start sit questions for you guys. Who would you start, Tyron Tracy Jr. or Bam Knight?
That's easy. Tyron Tracy.
Just
I
given
can't
how
trust Bam Knight.
just given how the news with they're sending Michael back to the practice squad, I'd probably go with Bam Knight just because Dallas's defense is just so bad.
Wow.
And I love Tyron Tracy. I'm a Giants fan.
That's why,
yeah. But I would ride a Bam Knight train.
All right.
Well, the reason why I would go Tracy is because he is more proven, right?
Yeah,
he's
for sure.
He's home game, not an away game, and he knows the offense. He has rushed for over 1,000 yards. That's why I'm going with the guy that's more proven. Bam Knight
with that?
sounds like a comic character.
All right. Would you start Bam Knight or Rico Dowdle?
Oh, wow.
So listen, I might catch flack for this, but for those who did not see what the Panthers right now, they're slated to score just 16 points. Is I know there's so much buzz about, it looks like they love Chuba, but Rico's got the hot hand, and there's a lot of talk about that. I would go Bam Knight. I think this is still going to be a muddy backfield. Rico Dowdle might get a lion's share of the work, but if it comes to the goal line and they're giving it to Chuba like they did this past week, does it really matter? Sure, you got a guy who's running between the 20s, but I just, until we can see what this backfield is going to be, if Rico takes over the entire backfield, great, but he's not going to. Chuba's there, right. Chuba's healthy. Chuba's going to be a part of it, whether it's 60-40 or 50-50. Amari DiMercado, he's there, but he's going to catch passes. I just think it's Bam Knight against this Dallas defense. I gotta go with Bam Knight. You gotta play the matchup sometimes.
Yeah, I gotta go Bam Knight on this because Dallas got a tough matchup, and you do see that split at the goal line with Chuba. So this week, I'd go Bam.
All right, quickly, last but not least, Woody Marks or Tyron Tracy?
Ooh. Woody Marks looked really good, man. He looked really good, but guess what? I'm sticking with Tracy. I'm sticking with my New York boys. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Tracy too. Woody is still splitting that backfield with Chubb. I mean, Woody did look good, but I believe I saw it early this morning. Yards per carry, Chubb was still getting more yards per carry than Woody, surprisingly. This past game, granted, it was against a defense that you can run on. This like San Fran's giving up, I believe it's the 8th most fantasy points to the running backs right now. But yeah, Tyrone Tracy again, especially if he's getting the workload like Cam was getting, and doesn't have to split the backfield with anyone, you got to go with the guy who's going to get the volume.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us here at the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah. Anything else for the audience?
Just pray for no injuries. Pray for good football.
Yeah,
Score a lot of points.
Yeah, no injuries, man. Injuries kill fantasy. The worst, absolute worst. And better reffing. Man, the refs were the worst this weekend.
Better
all
reffing.
Around. Horrible.
Listen, the only thing that's worse than injuries is playing with kickers and defense. But I'll just leave it at that. You guys have a wonderful night.
The Boz, man. The Boz. He killed it.
All right. And remember, if you're not playing fantasy football, you're probably just hanging up your Halloween decorations. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for listening to another edition of the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at KAF Football.